Greetings. In this video, we're going to be using the quadratic formula to evaluate an equation, solve for x. This is a x squared, so that's a parabola. What we're trying to do is find the x-intercepts using the quadratic formula when you can't or don't want to factor. First, you got to find your a, your b, and your c. That all come from your standard form of the equation. Remember, the standard form of the equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So that means that my a value is 2, my b value is -3, and my c value is -5. Once you get that information, you just plug all those values in here. So to solve for x, we write it out. Here we have the opposite of b. So I'm going to do the opposite of b, which is -3. So notice I put a negative with the negative, and then plus or minus the square root of b squared, so use those parentheses, minus 4 times 2 times a -5. And that's all over, so make sure you put a big long line there, 2 times 2. Now your work is in simplification. Here we have the opposite of -3, which is a +3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so -3 squared is 9, minus 4 times 2, which is 8, and 8 times a -5 is a -40. And then that's all over 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. So I did the squared, did this multiplication, subtracting the negative, so be careful with those negative signs. That's like adding. So as I simplify to my next step, that would be 3 plus or minus the square root of 49, all over 4. Of course, 49 is a square number, so that's nice. So that means that you have 3 plus or minus 7 all over 4. That turns into two different answers, one with the positive, one with the negative. So you have 3 plus 7 over 4, and you have 3 minus 7 over 4. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So it's 10 divided by 4. 3 minus 7 is a -4 divided by 4. And so then 10 divided by 4, that reduces to 5 over 2. Or perhaps 2.5 if you prefer the decimals. -4 divided by 4 is a -1. So my two solutions are x equals 2.5 and x equals -1.